noticed how when you open Instagram or TikTok, all the notification symbols are red, even though that's not a common color used within the rest of those apps? Well, that is a very deliberate decision, because psychological studies have shown that people respond quicker to red than any other color because we associate it with danger that requires immediate action. And like, have you ever come back from a holiday when you've not been using your phone as much, and all of a sudden you have way more notifications from X than usual, often about stuff that you've never even interacted with?
Or you have that friend that might send a few too many things to you. I feel so bad as a friend when I don't at least do like a little thumbs up or a heart or something. Then sometimes I'm like, man, I haven't even been on this app for most of the day. Then it just feels like something else that I gotta like keep up with. You know, I'm like, oh man, I gotta go to the grocery store, then I gotta pay my bills, and then I gotta go on Instagram and look at all these things that were shared with me. But I think that's intentional too. It'd be nice if there was like a one place, and I guess that might just be a text message. You know, it was like one place where you could just share everything, where all your friends could send you different sort of like videos and stuff, and you just go on that one app and just scroll through all of it, because sometimes it's on Facebook, sometimes it's on Instagram, sometimes it's on Snapchat or whatever that thing is. Snapchat's really confusing, but you know, it'd be cool if like somehow they all just went to one place. But that would never happen because those apps want you to go to their app.
These are called recapture notifications, designed to make you feel like you've missed out on so much that you need to get right back into a new session as fast as possible and reintroduce the habit of using the app regularly. Like if you don't use Facebook anymore, but you still have the app installed, I bet this is like 99% of your relationship with the app. It's a very similar trick to what shopping websites use when you abandon your basket halfway. And unless you've been very literally living under a rock for the last few years, you'll have guessed why social media companies do this stuff. Their entire business model is the attention economy.
Are they
They
gonna do
get
anything else
attention,
with that
they
rock?
show more better targeted ads, they get more money.
Go out
But
and get a
here's the
rock.
thing. If you've seen one of the thousands of videos all about social media addiction, they tend to boil it down to dopamine. They basically say that in order to get this attention, companies have got to persistently make the user feel good. They've got to persistently stimulate a user's production of dopamine, the reward chemical in their brain. But that is not the full story. Like, I mean, for
I also think there's a lot of shit going on in the world, and I think that people like the distraction. I think that there's a lot of people who go to the grocery store and they pay $400 for groceries and they start to freak out. And there's also, you know, all these like proxy wars going on, and there's an election right now in America, and also, you know, we're raising children who are using these sort of apps, and it's really hard to feel connected sometimes, not to our kids, but we're just afraid of their ability to connect to people properly because naturally that's where they go. And it's this, we're raising kids in a world that a lot of times I think that we don't feel familiar with. And so maybe we go on there to learn a little bit more about how they live, but then also too, it's like, nah, we're also just real addicted ourselves. You know, I think there's a lot to it, but I think the addiction comes from like us just wanting to be distracted. I don't necessarily think it's just like, oh, the app is so much fun. I think it's more just like, you know, they call it doom scrolling, right? It's not like scrolling to your doom, but it's like scrolling to avoid the feeling of doom because so much, you know, the world's a crazy place.
example, you know how some apps have unique notification sounds and vibration patterns? Like Slack, for instance. Clearly,
That was a
Slack
nice
wants
sound.
you to know when you have an important work alert. But then, how come apps like X don't use custom sounds and instead resort to your phone's default notification sound? I'm getting there, but the point is, the reality of what these tech companies
Hmm.
actually do to keep you addicted is quite a lot deeper and, to be really frank, more twisted than it first seems. The psychology is very much not.
I think the movie was called The Social Dilemma. It was on Netflix and really touched on a lot of these points. That one came out maybe 4 or 5 years ago. And after watching it, I deleted essentially all of my social media for about 3, 4 years. And there's definitely benefits to being back on because I would show up places. I would go spend time with family, and I would be the only one that didn't know what was going on. I'm like, all right, come on, let's go. We're all going to dinner. And I'm like, wait, what? And they're like, oh yeah, like the barbecue or whatever. Like, and just like everybody defaults and like feel like I missed a lot of family birthday parties and stuff just because, it was hard to get the message out to people all the time, on individual text messages. So people like the convenience of going like, all right, they're on social media. I'm going through my friend list. I'm adding them or whatever. But then also, you know, I think as much as like I had just talked about, and I guess this is kind of the tricky thing is like we're, using social media to avoid things and to help with anxiety of the world, but also I think it also, it's kind of like the snake eating his own tail because also when you're on there, I felt a lot more, you know, I guess I do a lot more comparisons to other people because when you're not on there, you just don't know. You don't see how the way the other people are living, and you only compare your life to I guess the day before, where you're like, okay, cool, you wake up, you do your thing. But when you open up your app and you're like, that guy has a better truck than me, like that dude's a fucking idiot, dude. Like, and so we have like this natural like feeling where we're like, and that instantly like starts to turn on ourselves or whatever. Where it's like, okay, we don't know that like the story that maybe he has parents that are, are a little, like, oh, maybe he had like a freaking family member that died or something and he got some money in that way. And it's like, do you really want to trade your life and, with that person who just lost a family member to get a better vehicle? Like, damn, no, of course not. But like, you don't know the full story and they don't want you to know the full story either, technically, right? Because a lot of times it's like that, everybody wants to look like they're living big money, So, hey, nice vehicle, cool, driving around in it. And then people like me are sitting there going, oh, my truck's a 2018. Like, oh, man, like, look how big the screen is on his truck. Like, I work harder than him. I deserve it. And so, like, that's where I think social media also is, you know, kind of had to be cognizant of that. You really have to put an honest effort into just being like, other people, like, we do not know their situation. And so just do the best that you can do at all times. And whatever you get what you get and don't throw a fit.
Oh, let's just make our app really good so people can't stop using it. So let's talk about it, and then how you can be one step ahead. So here's the thing with dopamine. The common perception is that when good things happen, your brain releases dopamine, you feel good. But dopamine isn't just triggered when good things happen. Research conducted by Dr. Robert Sapolsky, a neuroscientist at Stanford, found that when monkeys were taught that if they pulled a lever when a light came on, they would receive a treat, their dopamine levels actually spiked more when the light came on than when they actually received the treat, revealing that dopamine is in fact more involved in the anticipation of a reward. And biologically, this makes sense. Because imagine if you only got that reward when you succeed at something.
Okay. So what he's inferring then is that the dopamine's happening before you even really check your phone, right? You're like, oh wow, when you wake up in the morning, you're like, I'm gonna check my phone. The dopamine's already flashing before you get there. And then probably from that point, it's probably more of a downfall, right? Like, okay, then you ended up checking it and you're like, oh, now I just saw a political post that made me mad. Or, oh dang, now I just saw that dumb guy that has a better truck than me, right?
Never learn how to do anything that you couldn't immediately perfect on your first try. Dopamine isn't there in our brains to make our existences filled with joy. Dopamine is there to drive goal-oriented behavior that makes us want to aim for things and improve ourselves. But here's the real kicker. When Sapolsky varied the experiment, randomizing the likelihood so that monkeys would only receive the treat on average 50% of the time when they pulled the lever, their dopamine levels skyrocketed to double, even though they were only receiving the reward half the time. This is...
Hold on a second. That's crazy. So when they didn't get the reward with consistency, it made them want it more. Wow. Don't fuck on the first date. Damn. See, that's how women get us, dude. That is how they get us. Because, if you give it to them, I'm not, okay. I don't want to make that connection because that's going to make it worse for us men. We don't want to have to desire that bad. You know, just give us the original dopamine, right? Okay, cool. I'm anticipating the relations. I'm anticipating the relations, and then we get the relations. But if you're anticipating the relations and you're only getting relations half the time, you want the relations more? God, explain this to me. This is a good video. Who is this? Mr. Who's the Boss. I really like the way that he's editing this, the sound and stuff that he's using. Real quick, I'm going to subscribe to this guy. This dude. Wow, 19 million subscribers. No wonder. Yeah, this dude. Fantastic.
Variable intermittent reward. And it's one of the most fundamental principles that social media devs use to keep you hooked. Think about your own life. Have you ever had a crush on someone and it feels like you can't think of anything except when you're going to get that next text from them? Now, let's say that you're in this zone and you hear a Slack work notification while you're waiting. Your brain doesn't light up because you know it's not them. Well, I guess now in my case it actually could be because Drisha's on our team, but you get what I mean. But then let's say that you hear your phone's default notification sound. Your heart's going to start pumping. You'll immediately drop everything you're doing, all your priorities, and lunge for your phone, only to find it's Twitter letting you know that your friend tweeted a pic of their 6 out of 10 lunch. But this is the point. Social media doesn't addict you by always giving you something good, which is the common perception. It addicts you by making you feel like there can be something great. That if you just keep checking those notifications...
Oh, they're going to make me delete it again, aren't they? That's fucked. Because it's like, why can't we just have a good deal here? A good system where you just give me what I want all the time. Now it kind of makes sense where you're like, damn, sometimes I go on there and it's like, yeah, sometimes half the time I go on YouTube and I'm like, oh yeah, it just hits. And then other times I go on there and I'm like, did you all change the algorithm to somebody who ain't me? Because there's nothing I want to watch on here. It just might be that situation where you're like, oh, you came here? You're going to want us more. You're going to be a longer lasting customer if we don't give you what you want all the fucking time. Oh my gosh. There's this weird line where you're just like, companies, right? If you're a CEO of a company and you are responsible for all these people that work for you, that want raises and want to better their lives for their families, you can really justify doing some fucked up shit to just normal people, like doing these little fucking experiments, because you're like, hold on a second, that seems like some crazy mental manipulation, and I don't think that that's fair, right? It's the same shit they do with kids, right? When they talk about like the fucking cereal boxes and shit, and you're like, ah, damn. But then at the same time, you're like, you worked for that cereal company, and you were competitive with other cereal companies. You want a fucking raise. You want that bonus at the end of the year. You want that shit. And it's not like, hey, we should fuck up society for it, but also it's just like that very light justification where you're like, other people are doing it. We're gonna kind of do it. And you're gonna have a better life because you work for that company. If not, life is maybe not gonna be, I guess, as good as it could have been. Because it's like, why wouldn't you just make it where, give me what I want all the time? We're only here for so long, guys.
Keep scrolling just for that little bit longer, you might win the lottery. And so that's why social media platforms actually specifically choose to not have their own unique notification sounds. It's to social media's advantage to have their notifications.
You got what you wanted right away. I'm hungry for some entertainment. I'm hungry for a laugh. Oh, he, I laughed, and I'm out. Thank you. Then you're not in there watching those fucking ads. You're not in there longer. Oh, sons of bitches, dude. But what they're doing is like, hey, keep scrolling, you might laugh. If you keep scrolling, you might laugh.
Blend in with each other. It's the same way that Milo always makes the same noise for everything, no matter what the problem is, which compels me to always have to get up, go to him, and find out in case it is something serious.
I love cats.
He knows what he's doing. And you might be thinking at this point, hey, this concept reminds me of something. Oh yeah, it's called gambling, and that's not a coincidence. Now, you know where else you find variable intermittent rewards in abundance? Slot machines.
And they just did that cut. It reminded me of like how they do their advertisements. Like, oh, real quick, blah 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 blah. But like something about that transition made me think. I was like, are you literally about to do a fucking ad for like FanDuel or something right now? Like I don't know. To me, I almost felt like we were about to get pulled into a gambling ad, and I was like, you son of a bitch, you tricked me. Anyways, not the case. Sorry.
Bet machines might not look like they have the biggest stakes. I was in Vegas recently. I spent quite a while strolling around casinos, and it was fascinating because while on the betting tables where people play poker and blackjack, the minimum amount you could bet was between $10 and $50 per turn, depending on the time of day. On the slot machines, you could bet with as little as 5 cents. And yet,
And I
slot
have.
machines still generate over half of an average casino's revenue. How? Well, because they have been fine-tuned for decades to be the perfect attention traps. Just like social media, their profit is directly proportional to time spent on device. Just like social media, they've gotten very good at maximizing that. On a traditional slot machine, you pull a lever to spin, and just like the monkeys in Sapolsky's experiment, you're fed with a variable, intermittent reward. You have no idea when you're going to win big. All you know is that if that lever is pulled enough times, then eventually at
Guys, you're sitting there, you're buying drinks all day long. I mean, I'm sure that they're probably not making a ton of money on drinks. They're making a lot more money on the money that you're putting into that machine constantly. This has got me thinking about like video game players, right? Get the free reward of the day. We're also like Fortnite. Like, damn, they're doing this shit to our kids, right? Those colorful screens, and every time they're like, oh, I wonder who the new skins are. You're like, oh, yeah, it's fucking Ninja Turtles are in fucking Fortnite now. You know, and it's like every day that you're getting on, you're like, it could be something that you enjoy. So it pulls you in. I feel like such an animal when I watch this sort of shit. I'm like, stop training me, okay? Let me be free, bitch. Also, I'm watching this and I'm like, damn, it'd be fun to go to a casino. God.
some point in the future, it will pay off with a large jackpot. And so it makes it really hard to walk away from, even if you might have to spend 10 times as much as the jackpot amount to actually win it. Now, where do you notice that exact same action and feeling? Oh yeah, refreshing your feed on a social platform. There's something more exciting and, oh, come on, this time for sure, about pulling that screen down to refresh than just clicking a refresh button. How often do you find yourself just going for one more spin? I'm not going to lie to you, sometimes I do this action just for fun because of how tactile and responsive they've made the feeling of it. And yes, that is not an accident either. And slot machines have only gotten better over time at engineering your attention. Nowadays, they are so intelligent, they give people options of how to gamble, to give them the illusion of control, which makes them take bigger risks. When people face big losses and are ready to leave, the machines kick up and start teasing them with very near misses, making them feel like they're working towards a goal and they're now so close to getting it. And the machines are nowadays, they're also processing in real time. New slot machines are fitted with powerful chips that can subtly manipulate the odds as you play to keep the up and down smoother to make sure you stay
Oh,
as long as possible. Trust me, the more you look into it, the
okay.
scarier it gets. But in the exact same way, social feeds are using the exact same type of highly secretive, highly complex algorithms to decide what content to show you to keep your attention for as long as possible. And probably the worst current.
Pull out your phone right now. No. If you're watching on your phone, well, if you have an iPhone, you can do that little thing, right? You can take my video and just pop it. Why don't you visit social media just for a second? No, don't pull away from our video, okay? Because if you pull another video, then I'm going to go away. Okay, after this video, this is what I want you to do. Pull out your phone and just get that little calculator going in your head where you go, okay, they know what I want. Trust me, they know what the fuck you want. Hit that little fucking on Instagram, hit that little search icon, the discovery feed. They know exactly what you want. See how often what you want is there, how it gets littered in with things that you obviously probably don't want. Do that shit all the time. Like, I'm here for this. You know I'm here for this. Here I am scrolling, and you just sprinkle in shit that you know I'm not in here for.
Defender of this is
Mm.
X. Ever since Elon Musk bought the platform,
A great video.
researchers have found, with what you and I already see on our timelines every day, that the new algorithm is designed to actively promote content that will make you angry.
Do not talk shit on my man Elon. But seriously, business, mind control. Business is mind control. And you know what? What's also okay? I'm a big Elon fan. I feel like he's changing the world for the better in the sense of electric cars. You know, putting people into space is fucking fantastic. But also, if you think about this way that we're talking about mental manipulation, right? He's that the guy that should be doing the Neuralink shit. Uh-oh. You want to put fucking shit directly into your brain. E.
And disgusted, and therefore more likely to engage and keep scrolling. It's slowly deprioritizing what you came on there to see in the first place and prioritizing the sticky web that's going to keep you on there for as long as possible. To the point where, I mean, normal comment sections barely even exist anymore. When you click a public post and scroll down, you're essentially just in yet another feed within the feed. But here is where it gets really dark. Because it goes beyond the slot machines. Casinos themselves are designed to eliminate any and all stimuli that might prompt someone to make a choice outside of their games. Because if you can make a choice, then you can choose to leave. Like, just as an example, almost all walkways you find in a casino are gently curved without right angles, so that you can remain in that mindless flow state instead of reaching a stopping point where you might actually mentally check in with yourself and decide that you want to go. This same logic is crucial to social media design. Once you have a user's attention, you don't want them deciding to leave, so you might as well stop them from even thinking about it.
How can I set up my house to get my kids to do chores? Like, are my hallways too rigid? Do I need flowy hallways so that they can pick up their damn toys?
To achieve that, what every single one of these social media platforms does is eliminate any and all friction in the experience to make the easiest thing to do in any given moment just keep floating along. A great example of this is TikTok's user interface. The second you enter the app, a video is playing. You don't need to choose what to click on. The vertical video takes up most of your screen automatically.
That's the most addicting.
To full screen a video, you'd have to either consciously switch your phone to a different orientation or click a fiddly button in the corner. All of the important toggles for interacting with the content and going deeper into the app are at the bottom of the screen, right where most people's thumb would naturally be. So
people are addicted to seeing people just change their clothes and just kick their feet with babies in their hands. That's not the kind of shit that I watch. Shit that I watch is when they call out those pedophiles in public. I don't know why. I hate that I fucking love watching those videos. I don't like when they get beat and shit because, like, you know, most of those people do have, like, it looks like they have, like, Down syndrome or some shit. Or the guy is a person that you know has never fucked before. That's kind of a bummer, right? Where you're like, oh, no. I mean, not a bummer because he's trying to do some real bad shit. But man, those videos, they pull me in and I hate watching them. Like, I feel gross watching it. I don't like even, I like living in a naive world where I'm like, I know shit's fucked up out there, but like, don't put my face in it. But then those videos come up and I'm like, subscribe.
you don't need to choose.
Not that kind of shit. I don't care about people dancing.
And as you probably guessed, the only action that is made less easy is leaving. Like when you're on Android and you're trying to use the back gesture, you actually have to swipe away once to indicate that you want to leave.
Or Instagram threads, I always end up liking things on accident because I'm like, okay, because all the other apps, they go, all right, go to the left. I do that shit, and that's how you like things on threads. I'm like, what are you trying to do here? It's some sort of manipulation. I know that.
And then the app will actually show you a completely different TikTok to try and grab you again, and then you have to swipe away a second time to confirm it. And crucially, you can scroll through videos infinitely. It will never end, with every single piece of content also autoplaying, eliminating yet another choice, which all leads to
work memes. I love those.
Doom scrolling, which, just like the curved walkways in a casino, provide you with no natural point to stop and check in with yourself. And that's why we all end up in these scrolling sessions where we completely forget where we are, who we're with, and the entire passage of time until some sort of external trigger comes in to remind us. Now, the thing that really gets me about all of this is that we know these are deliberate decisions, and we know this very well because there are people out there blowing the whistle on it. Like Asa Raskin, who actually invented the infinite scroll in 2006. He figured at the time that it would make for better search engine results. You know, clicking through to the next page was just a little bit of friction that he saw he could eliminate to smooth things out. But he didn't realize what it would be turned into. And now now he's found out, Raskin has publicly apologized 1,000,000 times for inventing it, and has now gone completely the other way to found the Center for Humane
It's like the guy
Technology
that
with
created the atom
an
bomb.
ethicist,
Like,
Tristan Harris,
probably
who
shouldn't have done that.
working at something literally called the Persuasive
Oppenheimer.
Technology Lab when he studied at Stanford, to then working at Google trying to change them from the inside, only to quit when he realized he couldn't. You might have seen this guy give testimony multiple times in US Congress talking about what these big tech companies do. But also, Sean Parker, the first president of Facebook, has publicly called Facebook's business model a social validation feedback loop exploiting a vulnerability in human psychology, and has himself admitted that we understood this and we did it anyway. Yikes. So now that we understand the beast from the inside, it's not like the companies are going to change off their own accord. So what I would recommend is, on a personal level, you take control. Take 20 minutes once to go through and disable all notification types that don't actually serve you, which just exist to prod you into
That'll help.
mindlessly starting a new session for a few minutes. I promise you, you don't need to know every time a friend comments on another friend's Instagram pic that...
Also, what I found that helps is if you can just set aside a certain amount of time, like a day, to do it, right? Where you just go, okay, when I get home from work, I'm gonna hang out with the kids for a little bit. You know, maybe there's like this little period between when I get home from work and by the time that I need to make dinner, you know, or maybe I'll sit on the couch and I'll get caught up a little bit, you know, or maybe it's after dinner, right? Your food's digesting, whatever, you know, cool. Let me do it at that time. But if you can set aside some like certain time where you go, this is my social media time, which would be like he just said, which is a great idea, turning off notifications, because that just goes, hey, come on back, come on back, come on back. It's like, that's the kind of control that gets kind of scary, you know? But if you can actually set it up in a way where you go, okay, I'm making a choice now. Time for me to enter into the world of social media for a minute. You know, just set aside some time.
you haven't even interacted with. Turn off autoplay wherever possible, and if you're on an iPhone, use the scheduled summary feature, which means you're not missing notifications, you're just saving them all for later together. And the key thing is just reintroduce a little bit of that friction back in yourself. Even just pushing your most distracting social media apps from your home screen to the one page next to it is already enough to reduce your unintentional usage time. And that's all I'm trying to save you from. I think there's loads of great things to be entertained by and to learn from on social media, but I don't want you to feel manipulated against your will by hyper-intelligent algorithms that understand your psyche better than you do. Now, this video is also sponsored by Surfshark VPN, but I don't want to do a normal ad and just explain how it works again and again. I just want to show you one image. This one image explains basically everything you need to know. One Surfshark account supports unlimited devices, others don't. Surfshark has one of the highest number of server locations, which gives you access to more countries and higher speeds. And Surfshark has a ton of other safety features which complement the VPN, and they're all included in that one price, which also happens to be rock bottom. With the code BOSS, Surfshark VPN is stupendously cheap right now. It's $2.09 a month with an extra 4 months for free and a 30-day money-back guarantee if you don't, for some reason, find it useful. So, link in the description.
All right. Code name boss. Use the code boss. If you don't follow Mr. Who's the Boss, go ahead and click subscribe. You know, they got this little bell right here. Maybe leave that off, right? I'll decide when I come to YouTube. I hope your video's there. But you don't gotta pull me away from my kids. What a video. Good job.